from the station that's on your side. This is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
A deadly shooting today in Aiken County, and tonight we know who that victim is. The coroner says he's a 23-year-old Trenton man, Lloyd Widener III. Here's a look at that scene on Old Friar Road, about 3 miles north of Aiken city limits. Widener was pronounced dead there at the scene from multiple gunshot wounds. One person, they say, has been detained. And this latest shooting comes just 2 days after another fatal shooting in Aiken County. This one on Weston Street, just outside North Augusta city limits. It's been over a week now since a 13-year-old was wounded in a shooting at the Walmart in Aiken, and since then, tributes have been pouring in from the community and even around the country for Ashton Reichert, from fundraisers to blood drives and get well cards, and tonight is no different. The owner of Soulshine Yoga hosting cards for Ashton. She's giving people the chance to either make a card or leave a note. As Sydney Hood tells us, the idea comes from a mom looking for a way to help.
Exactly, and while Aiken still struggles to make sense of what happened, they are continuing to respond with love, and sometimes love comes in the smallest of ways, like a simple handwritten get well card.
Dear Ashton, day by day, hope you're on the way to feeling better. Heard you went home tonight. So awesome. Sending you all the love and prayers for your recovery.
Complete strangers drawing color into darkness.
Maybe something in one of those cards or more than one of those cards speaks to them and kind of resonates in their heart a little bit.
Because sometimes a little note can mean the world.
What is the intention behind sending somebody a get well card? It's to let them know you're thinking of them and to lift their spirits up, and it really was just as simple as that.
Something as simple as picking up a pen can go a long way.
I think that people are just looking for a way to help and be supportive and trying to figure out what is a family going to need right now. They're going to need prayers.
Sealed in each envelope is a message.
You're supported by so many people whose lives have been touched by your bravery. Wishing you much happiness, a full recovery, with blessings beyond your wildest dreams. Love and prayers from so many people.
A message of hope.
There's people you never even met praying for you. People all over the community are talking about you and what a brave, kind, beautiful girl you are. And don't let anybody put that light out.
Ashton is home from the hospital tonight. Her mom posted on Facebook, "We are headed home. Sweet Ashton will sleep in the comfort of her home tonight." She's asking people to keep the prayers coming, and the community support isn't going anywhere. On Saturday, Mercy Church is hosting a blood drive starting at noon. Also on Saturday at both Vicky's Boutique locations in Aiken, 25% of sales will go to Ashton and her family.
Great to see so much support heading their way. City, thank you for that. To Weather Now, to give you a live. A Richmond County deputy is facing some serious charges tonight, accused in connection with misconduct at the detention center. The sheriff's office got a tip about a possible misconduct by Deputy Jailer Joseph Clark involving a female employee with the Public Defender's Office. The allegation involves sexual misconduct in an interview room. Clark is now charged with criminal attempt, aggravated sodomy, false imprisonment, sexual battery, and violation of oath by a public officer. He was fired from his job at the Webster Detention Center today. One person in the hospital after an accident involving a mowing tractor and plumbing truck this afternoon. The Aiken Department of Public Safety says it happened near the Aiken County Government Center on University Parkway, and there they are cleaning up the scene. Officers say the plumbing truck hit the back of that tractor, causing it to flip, pinning the driver underneath. They say the driver was still conscious when he was taken to a hospital. Two young boys missing for almost a week are safe and back home tonight. New at 11, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office have been looking for 11-year-old Isaiah Jones and 12-year-old Jamarian Sales, both last seen on East Boundary Street last Friday. But within the last half hour, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says they've been located and they're okay. Lawmakers are working to crack down on sex trafficking through rideshare apps, and Senator John Ossoff is part of the bipartisan movement calling on rideshares to address safety. Uber recently made changes to its age requirement, which allows minors between the ages of 13 and 17 to request a ride without an adult present.
That's really scary, first of all, to even allow that, because that does just open the door for more and more trafficking to take place. This ability to be able to get in an Uber at such a young age without a grown adult just allows for the trafficker to sell them over and over and over again.
Lawmakers are demanding a response by the end of this month from Uber and Lyft on how they plan to protect both children and adults. An Augusta man behind bars accused of molesting a teenage girl while her father was away. Daryl Haig was charged with child molestation and rape. Last month, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office responded to AU Health about a past sexual assault. When deputies got there, they met with the victim's father, who said his neighbor came over to the home, climbed into bed, and sexually assaulted the victim while he was out of town. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says a man is facing charges after a victim was shot in the arm while carjackers tried to steal his car. Jafari Elliott is in the Webster Detention Center, charged with possession of a firearm during a crime, aggravated assault, and carjacking. House Democrats in Georgia trying a new way to force votes on gun control measures like background checks and bans on assault-style rifles. It's called a discharge petition. Democrats are trying to collect the signatures of all 212 of their fellow House lawmakers and 6 Republican members to reach a majority. That would force votes on gun control legislation without having it stopped in a committee.
You're 25 times more likely to die in the United States than anywhere else by guns. And people have decided enough is enough, and they're fed up.
Discharge petition signatures are not anonymous, and we don't know if enough House Republicans will sign their name to it to make it work. Prosecutors in Savannah trying to get journals written by Leilani Simon. She's the mom accused of killing her son. Her lawyers are fighting to block them from getting those journals. Simon is charged with murder after investigators say she killed her son Quentin, leaving his body in a dumpster. Her lawyers argue the prosecutor's request to get Simon's writings violates her right to privacy and is the same thing as unlawful search and seizure. Her next court hearing is set for next month. A judge in Forsyth County denying bond for the woman accused of dumping her newborn in the woods back in 2019, calling her a flight risk. Kamari Jawani was arrested last month and charged with attempted murder. Detectives say Jawani placed her newborn daughter in a plastic bag and left her in the wood line just south of Cumming. That baby survived. Jawani's attorney says she suffered from postpartum psychosis, which can sometimes lead women to feel detached from their bodies and unable to understand right from wrong. She asked the judge to allow Jawani to live with her sister and mom in San Antonio, but the judge denied that request. Vandals have been busy hitting historic monuments around Augusta. In the last week, 3 monuments downtown have been damaged. Someone took the bronze Bible that was once on the Masonic Lodge monument. Pieces of cement are all that remain there.
Why in the world would anyone defame a Masonic memorial? It's kind of like grave robbing. It's horrible.
Fishman says there's at least $2,000 worth of damage done to that monument, and that's taking money away that would have been used to offer scholarships to local students. The Imperial Theater getting a big facelift on the inside. They're spending $1.5 million for new paint, new plaster, and to upholster a lot of chairs inside. Along with SPLOS funds, the community also played a big part in donating the money to restore the historic theater. And over the next 6 weeks, the ceilings, the walls, the frames around the stage will be scraped and repainted. The theater's long-term projects include adding an elevator and improving concessions, dressing rooms, as well as the front entrance. Speaking of the theater, tonight, the opening night of Freaky Friday at the Davidson Fine Arts Center. Here's a look at the work they were doing this afternoon. The Augusta Junior Players production runs for 2 more nights, Friday and then again on Saturday. All shows start at 7 p.m. at the Davidson Fine Arts School in downtown Augusta. They are award-winning and certainly worth your time. Anthony.
All right, Richard, as you're heading out the door this evening, still on the drier side, we have one little storm in some of our northern counties right now that looks to start to fizzle out, which is great news for us. We're likely going to stay dry as we go through both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the rain does return as we go through next week. We'll talk about a drier and sunnier weekend, though, when we come back.
And it's not just Augusta getting hit with cyber attacks, but it's happening all across the nation. That story and more when News 12 at 11 continues.
Did you get that record? I don't think so. I think it's something you probably need to ask. Gotta get that. Yeah, I think so.
Hey, y'all know what a weatherman's favorite reptile is?
What?
A blizzard.
What is he doing?
Dad jokes.
There's a 100% chance of baby showers because Riley's heading off to be a dad. Congratulations, Riley. We'll see you when you get back.
Imagine a system. Just call the number on your screen for a free quote. 1 hour heating and air conditioning. Always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
A significant cyber attack taking place across the nation and around the world. Federal agencies, state governments, major universities have been hit with a campaign of data theft and ransomware. Johns Hopkins University and its health system says the data breach may have impacted sensitive personal and financial information, including contact information and health billing records. There is no confirmation about what group or country might be behind the intrusions, but U.S. intelligence believes a criminal organization operating inside Russia is responsible.
Tonight, senior government officials are racing to limit the impact of what one cyber expert is calling potentially the largest theft and extortion event in recent history. American targets include multiple federal agencies, including the Department of Energy, plus Johns Hopkins affiliated hospitals in Maryland and Florida, Georgia's statewide university system, and the Minnesota Department of Education. British Airways was also hit. The hackers are part of the cyber criminal gang called CLOP, believed to operate from inside Russia.
They've started releasing some of the data that was stolen as part of their work to extort these companies. We strongly encourage anyone who is a user of this software to, of course, patch, lock down their systems.
The cyber criminals are exploiting a software program called MoveIt, which companies and government agencies use to transfer data, including personal information. The group steals the data, and in this message believed to be from the hackers, warns that if a ransom is not paid, after 7 days, all your data will start to be published, sometimes on the dark web. Cyber expert Brett Callow says foreign adversaries and criminals will be looking to leverage the data.
Overseas governments will no doubt be very interested in obtaining the information that CLOP obtained through these attacks.
So it's definitely not just happening in Augusta. Last week, the FBI and the government cybersecurity agency warned companies to be on the alert for this kind of attack. Former intelligence officials telling CBS News the threat has been circulating for weeks, and they accuse the government of being slow to act. Much more news ahead after we get a check.
Right now, save $30 a month when you bundle extra reliable internet and WOW TV Plus.
Wow. Hard to believe, but a 13th horse has died at Churchill Downs. The 4-year-old colt injured while racing during the track's spring meet. The horse was put down 2 days later because of an unusual fracture in its left forelimb. 13 horses have died at the track now since early May, and the commission says it plans to hire a new safety steward to monitor horses in the barns and on that track. To Mexico now, where authorities have confirmed the deaths of 2 Americans who appear to have died in their hotel room. The California couple vacationing in Mexico's Baja region found unresponsive in that room. The suspected cause of death is gas poisoning. Here's Miguel Almaguer.
The bodies were discovered at this exclusive upscale resort in Cabo San Lucas. Abby Lutz and her boyfriend, who lived in California, found unresponsive in their room by hotel staff. Mexican police in the seaside community suspect the cause of death is inhalation of gas.
She got really sick and they thought it was food poisoning.
Lutz's family says the couple started feeling ill after they arrived at Rancho Pescadero and headed to the hospital.
They spent the night and with IVs, getting IVs and things, and then they felt better. When they went to bed, I guess they didn't wake up.
On GoFundMe, the family writes, "We have been told it was due to improper venting of the resort and could be carbon monoxide poisoning."
I think that's the hardest part, is going to a resort that you think you're going to be taken care of at, and it was just so senseless.
At Rancho Pescadero, where the rooms can cost up to $1,000 a night, the hotel, owned by Hyatt, says, out of an abundance of caution and respect for the families and all of those affected, we are refraining from speculation about the cause. The deaths, the latest in a string of similar accidents in Mexico. Last October, after renting an upscale apartment, 3 Americans appeared to have died from carbon monoxide poisoning in Mexico City. In 2018, a couple and their 2 children also lost their lives in Tulum.
We love her. family, all friends will miss her so much.
Tonight, the hallmarks of another preventable tragedy for a young couple on vacation. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Also, last night we told you about a woman in Louisiana arrested for impersonating a high school student, and now we might know why. The St. Charles Parish Sheriff says a school administrator got a tip the student was in her 20s and not 17, as her enrollment papers said. Her mom was also arrested for falsifying documents, and it all started with a mother wanting her daughter to learn English.
She was not a disciplinary problem. She violated no laws in the community that we had to deal with her. As far as we know, she did nothing inappropriate at all, merely attended school. The information we got about the reason for her doing this was simple. She wanted to learn English.
Both the mother and daughter now each face one count of injuring public records, and the sheriff's office says they are still investigating. Mercedes-Benz partnering up with Microsoft to add ChatGPT to its cars. That will extend the capabilities of the vehicles, which can already respond to some simple commands from drivers by saying, "Hey Mercedes." Right now, the car's responses are limited to those simple commands like adjust the temperature or find a navigation destination. With the addition of AI, though, the system will be able to respond to a much wider range. It will also be able to carry on more natural conversations. Look at that. Well, the Green Jackets looking to make it 3